Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Picked up this new game called Rimworld. It's a top-down survival game that's based off of Firefly. Yeah, that Firefly. Anyway, the game has a random story generator to it, and it makes the story just like different each time, so it basically has endless replayability. But the classic story of it, the basic gist is your ship has crashed or been destroyed or something in space, and some of your crew have managed to escape to the planet that's near you, and you're either trying to survive on the planet or return to space. I haven't got to the late game to figure out which direction I want to go. There will be a setup video for this to show how I picked the map and the colonists. That video should come out sometime after this. I just needed the commentary for this video because it didn't record when I first recorded it. So in order to keep playing the game, I need my commentary to match up with the next episode. So I need to go ahead and release this video now. And that's basically what we're doing. So our colonists just crash landed on the planet here. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to make my base. I have this pre-built building here on the left, and another building here, but that building's a little too small. And one of our first objectives here is to get our guys a place to sleep for the night, because the mood of the colonists and the survivors really determine how well they'll behave and act in this game. They have all sort of weird things that can happen to them, and each colonist has its own stats and stuff that's given to them. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but having a place for them to sleep for the night, and so they're not sleeping on the ground or out in the cold, which this biome is a kind of a northern forest biome, so it should get pretty cold. It's 58 right now, so I mean they're in jeans and a t-shirt, so probably a little cold. Oh yeah, renaming our survivors here. Gotta put myself in the video. So my my two avatars, my main male avatar name and my female avatar name, make it in the game immediately. Try and keep these people alive. If you have any suggestions for names for Sparkles, which I think has a romantic relationship with Falcon. May get into that a bit later, but if you have any name suggestion for Sparkles, let me know. So it's a harsh world out there, so we want to equip all of our guys with the weapons that spawned with our spaceship here. A lot of junk fell down with us, when we came in the escape pod. So we have a little bit of metal on the ground. There's some medical meals here and some medicine. I think there's some wood. You can see it up in the top left. But we're just getting our characters all spec'd out here. Now Lyra is incapable of violent, so giving her a knife is not really going to help, but each one of the characters has their own stats. Falcon's a little bit better at shooting, so he gets a survival rifle, and Sparkles is kind of a weak shot, but not terrible, so she's gonna get the pistol. And then Lyria is, I mean, she just has the knife as if she needs to defend herself. I'm not even sure if she will defend herself if something's attacking her. I think she might be of a pacifist mentality, meaning that she just gets owned. I'm looking around the map here to see if there's any more resources that we need to have our guys go and select. Usually there's a couple of extra escape pods that come out with you, but the people or whatever didn't survive, or the pod broke up in the atmosphere or something, but the resources are scattered across the map. I didn't find any here, but they're out there. So our guys picked up our stuff, and they're going to start carrying all the supplies over to the place that we designated for them to carry it to, which is a as they just call them zones, or deposit zones. hard to do commentary after that. But looking at the character sets here, to see if there is a relationship going on between the two, and I found the social tab. So these are basically the bonds and stuff that they develop between the characters. And at the beginning of the game, everybody's kind of happy, and, well, not happy, but not terrible. They did just crash land. So looking at Sparkles here, you can see she's the mother of Illyria and the lover of Falcon. So that's giving her some positive morale, and their affinity toward each other determines on like whether or not they'll get into fights or defend each other if they get into fights, and how well they'll perform their tasks related to each other, like healing or social tasks and whatnot. So just trying to select all the wood here so we can get all of that deposited in there. So you can see over here, these are our orders that we give to our survivors for them to come and make things. Once we place something down like that, depending on their skills and how their work tree is set up, they have a priority of things that they're going to do. And Illyria apparently is pretty good at construction, so she's making the beds right now. While Falcon and Sparkles are hauling stuff to the zone because they don't have anything better that I've told them to do so far. Now there is a little bit of resource management in terms of like mining, so there's resources in the rock that can be mined to allow you to create, more things. So anyway, what we want to do here today is to get beds and a house set up so that they're not sleeping outside in what's probably going to be fairly cold at night. Right now it's 65, so not super terrible. We also want to set up a zone for them to dump all the junk, and that's what this dumping stockpile zone will be. It's mainly just there so that they can, like all the scrap rock and whatnot, they can dump that in there. The map has a ton of animals that spawn on it. It's based off what region you picked. Like I said, this is I think a timber forest. It's one of the colder biomes, but we should see a lot of foresty type animals. Now, assigning on beds here, being lovers, Falcon and Sparkles probably want to be in the same bed versus Illyria being in a different one. Now it's a little awkward because they're going to be in the same room for one night, so we may try and remedy that before nighttime, depending on how fast they're going to get stuff done. So they're doing pretty good. I mean, they have a lot of the resources already moved over to the stockpile, and we don't have a lot else for them to do, so we might as well go ahead and make another room for Illyria so things don't get weird. So I left all the space in between the buildings here. I'm thinking that this part of the map will probably end up being like a choke point that we want to have like enemy raiders or like animals or any sort of threat that we can kind of push them into a kill zone. So Illyria is going to get working on her own room here. Depending on how fast she is, she gets to either sleep by herself or gets stuck in a room with Falcon and Sparkles. You kind of got unlucky with the kitty cat. The cats don't really do a whole lot. I guess they're useful from a mood standpoint. The owner of the cat, whenever it gets an owner, will get a pretty good benefit from owning it, and like I think it gets like pet bonuses and stuff. It's weird. But yeah, they have all sorts of like animals that can spawn with you at the beginning. It's usually domesticated animals, though, so like cats or dogs. My first playthrough, I think I got a Yorkshire Terrier. So weird. So anyway, Falcon's going to chop down the trees here that are inside of Lyra's base. And once you chop down a tree, you can see it gives you 24 wood. I think we had 3 stacks of 75 wood, or maybe more than that at the beginning. But anyway, wood is pretty needed in this game, especially if we go for like power plants that are field power plants and stuff like that. Anyway, looking around the map for resources. Locating your resources in the early game is kind of necessary. You want to know where you can easily get compacted machinery and compacted steel. That is a chinchilla. That is the first time I've seen that in this game. You do have some really weird animals that show up in here, and some created animals because this isn't Earth. This is a different world that's been settled. If you know anything about Firefly, we've settled basically. It's just like a massive solar system, I believe. But it has all different kinds of animals, but all the worlds have been terraformed to support human life. So they're all kind of like Earth's, but they have, some of them have alien animals and whatnot on them. Falcon is really slow at chopping down the trees. It's a muscles guy. It's kind of cool, the home that Falcon and Sparkles will share already has that tiled floor in it, or stone floor in it. We'll get to stone making later, but it's nice to have that already. There's a beauty modifier in the game that kind of determines their mood as well. If they're in an ugly environment too long or something like that, like, you know, being in a dumpster all day, you're gonna, you know, have less mood than if you were, you know, standing in a garden all day. I don't know. Might not be too different from me. Yes, sitting at my computer all day. No, anyway. But yeah, the mood is based off their environment, so having, you know, that stone floor is a beautiful stone floor versus, you know, having like the grass in your house. So it's actually kind of a good pickup of that house. Even though it's probably not in the most ideal location. So what we're creating here is a dining hall. Something that kind of affects your characters early on, and you don't want things to stack up, because the more things stack up, your characters will start losing their mind, and once they lose their mind, they'll just like start killing people randomly. They'll go berserk. But anyway, one thing that makes them start losing their mind is that they don't have something to eat on, or that they don't have a place to eat. So having a table and some chairs really goes a long way for like creating stability, I guess, in their lives. So anyway, I got Falcon here mining out some of the steel. We'll definitely need this later in the game, and right now, you know, cutting trees is pretty terrible, so it's better for him to do something productive. Something that I do notice watching this again is everybody's moving kind of slow, and if you watch the mouse when one of them is selected, it says something about a swampy environment. I'm not entirely sure what that is, so let's check that out. That'll be in the next video. The ground does look kind of swampy. Oh, what are those? Capybara. A whole herd of them guys. And if we had our food setup, I would totally be killing those. So we're digging out the rest of this spot for our dining hall, so we'll have a little space around it. What is Sparkle's doing? She's getting wood or something. I think she's wandering aimlessly. Please, she hasn't gone crazy. Okay, she's starting to move some of the items over. So anyway, we're getting to night here. You can see that the temperature's actually okay down at 62. It's not bad. Oh, we're gonna create a little animal zone. Something I found out is the animals will go in and start eating your food if you don't create them a zone. And the zone basically just tells them where they can go. So if they go in the houses, they'll disturb your sleep, which you animal owners out there probably know. And if they're able to go in our food area, they'll, eat our food. And cats, some cats do that. Phil's cat won't do that. My brother's cat. So finicky. But creating a little area for him to run around in. He can hunt in this area, so we kind of want it to be fairly big so that he doesn't starve. But he'll hunt for his own food and whatnot. And we can put out some like kibble or something for him so that he can eat that. But I'm not gonna give him big boy meals. In the early game, your two main things, especially on the classic setting, is you don't want your guys to freeze if you're in a cold biome, or overheat, I guess, if you're in a really hot one. There's like desert and arid environments as well. But your main struggle for the first couple days is food. You need to get some source of food because you only have a limited supply that dropped with you in the ship. And without just like massive amounts of berries around you, which in this game are not completely renewable because your guys like destroy the bush, which is like, how do you destroy a berry bush? But anyway, I guess berries in real life don't really produce a whole lot per year. Like once you pick all the berries off, that's pretty much it. I don't know if they do it multiple times or not. I don't remember picking berry bushes multiple times a year when my grandparents had a bush. Anyway, just looking around the map here for animals and resources and whatnot. Oh, found some stone. Steel. Oh yeah, this is looking at how we're gonna set up the base. So there's these things called steel traps, and they're pretty good for making like attackers and whatnot run over and they get hurt because they're hidden from the attackers. But your guys know that they're there, so they'll walk around them. But setting up little kill zones for things like that. And I was looking at where we could have our guys for like a firing range, and then have the traps like as far away from that firing range so that we can hit them, first with the traps and then start firing at them. Because your guys get demoralized when your friendlies start getting hurt. They'll start getting negative penalties to wanting to fight and stuff like that. So this game's actually really deep in that. It's pretty cool in its simulation. Right now, because everyone's doing something, no one's hauling. All this stuff just randomly all over the place. Oh, see, cat got hungry. Killed him a rat. Starting to eat it. I was sitting here seeing if he was going to eat the whole thing in one go. But you can see here on the stats, he bit off the front leg. And there he goes, he bit off the right leg. Front right leg of this rat. So he's just eating parts of the rat, and he ate its head. Yeah, well done, cat. Which, more likely, you know, being a cat, it probably just ripped them off and didn't eat it. Because cats are jerks. But anyway, setting up the stockpile to hold dead animals and having that animal, you know, go into our stockpile. I don't know if we'll be able to set up the butchering bench before that animal spoils, but if we do, it'd be a nice little source of food. Very small source of food, because it's only like half an animal now. Cat eating it all. Chinchilla in the home. Warning. So looking here at what Falcon's good at, he's really good at mining. Fairly decent at shooting and melee. We probably won't use melee unless we get a brawler. Sparkles has some really good stats for like artistic and crafting and whatnot. Kind of wondering why Falcon's not mining right now. What are you doing better than mining if you're good at mining? Some more survival meals up there that we found. I'll pick those up. Oh, I think I noticed here that we're already out of wood, which is kind of crazy, but we have been building pretty fast. Lear's pretty quick on that. If we can set up to cut more wood here, then she can continue on creating our dining hall. Not entirely sure what I was trying to convey there. Oh, here we go. We're gonna set up our crops. So crops in this game are done a lot like in other games. You just set an area and then you click what kind of crop you want them to plant in that area. In this game, there are 3 basic food crops. There's corn, rice, and potatoes. Corn takes a lot longer to grow, but gives you a little bit better yield per space. Rice is really fast to grow, but gives you kind of bad yield per space. And potatoes is the mid of the road. So we'll do one of each. Also going to set up a crop of cotton here. Because with that cotton we can make shirts and stuff like that. And from my experience, the first visitor you get to your colony that decides to stay is usually naked. I have no reason why that is. It's kind of weird. But we'll want to get them clothes, so producing a little cotton now means that we can make a tailoring bench later and hopefully get them some clothes, you know, before they freeze or whatever. It's actually pretty temperate here. It's 71 degrees during the day. It's like perfect. Come live in Texas. You have like 99-degree weather. So I don't want animal corpses to be deposited in this dumping zone. I want them to be close to the dining hall. So I really just want this dumping zone to be rocks. Human corpses we'll put in graves so that our survivors can go visit them. They get kind of a buff from that, from visiting graves, or at least graves of friends. I think I'm not entirely sure how that works, but assuming that one of our colonist dies, I think they can go visit the grave to get a buff, but joy buff. I don't know that I've ever been joyous visiting a grave, but Falcon's almost done with the mining here. We've done enough to go ahead and finish out our wall. Did she just Just move that. Oh, okay. She moved the rock over out of the construction zone. Well done. Some days our guys will actually cut down some of these trees and she can start building again. I'm gonna put the chairs on this side of the table so that they're a little bit closer to wherever our cooking zone is. Both Sparkles and Illyria have a 7 in construction, so should make pretty quick work of all of our early game construction. Other than mining, Falcon has some pretty terrible stats. Lyria's animals is actually pretty decent. Seven's not bad. That means she can do some of the smaller ones like that turtle. She could probably do with pretty good consistency. Some of the bigger ones you need kind of a good animal stat on, or they'll end up attacking you from trying. Sparkle's taking a really long time on that chair. I wonder if she's failed. Oh, there she goes. To wear an alpaca. Got the rat up there for a cat to kill. Yeah, that rat's gonna spoil really fast. The being so warm outside. It's like 70. See, this is the debuffs. So currently the environment that they're in is ugly, but that's really the only debuff. And Falcon's hungry, but yeah, most of them just have the ugly environment debuff. So as soon as we can clean up the environment, they'll lose that. Their mood is based off the change in it, so the longer they stay in an ugly environment, it'll change their mood over time. Whereas some of the other ones are just like static. Like they wake up in a good mood, so they get a buff then. But that doesn't like continue changing it throughout the day, but being in an ugly environment throughout the day will continuously change them into a bad mood. Well, if they care about it. Yeah, based off their construction skill, they have a chance to fail or succeed. And on some of the products, like even those chairs and table, there's a like rating on how well they succeeded, and that determines like their value. Some of the products like clothes and pistols and weapons, it'll determine how much damage or how fast it shoots or if it jams or stuff like that. But I don't think walls have a quality value. Maybe they should. Walking over stone like that, like Illyria did, will cause them to move slower. And once you have a house built, they put a roof on the top to keep out the stuff. I don't know why the roof doesn't cost resources to make, but I guess that was just a game developer decision that they didn't want it to cost. So anyway, we're gonna put down the butcher bench and the fueled stove so that we can get our food going. I'm gonna try and get this rat meat to where we can use it. So making these now is probably better than waiting. But I don't know if our guys will make them before they go to bed. It's getting really close to nighttime. They are putting in the stuff for the butchered bench, which we do want them to make first. she just like... Oh, okay. Yeah, I told her to break down the torch and move it. It's a funny little icon for cutting down trees as a machete. I don't think that's how it works. I guess the other ones have scissors. It's just that one that has a machete. This is the difference between harvest and removal. Anyway, they didn't get the food bench done before the night. So anyway, this has been the first 2 days in Rimworld. The game gets really intense, but you know, the first couple days are just set up, and with the classic storyteller, it kind of gives you time to do what you need to do in the game. So anyway, Falcon's actually a night owl, so we want him sleeping during the day, and we want him awake at night, which is pretty close to how I work. But anyway, in order to get the buff from, you know, sleeping with Sparkles, we need them to be sleeping at the same time. So we'll move Sparkles to like sleeping in the morning to noon, and then Falcon just like during the day. But anyway, this allows us to keep someone up basically all the time, pretty close to all the time. So Sparkles is nervous. It's not a really good trait to have, because it means she's more susceptible to mental breaks, meaning that if she stays in a bad environment or her mood gets low, then she's gonna break before a lot of other people will. Lyria is actually an optimist, which is the opposite, meaning she's harder to break. But she's incapable of violence, so she's not really gonna help us out in a fight at all. Falcon's shooting skills decent. It's not really that good, honestly. In fights, we may have a problem, but we'll see. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for tonight. Oh, Falcon's getting him some. Got some lovin'. Yep, gotta have those buffs. Anyway, that's it for today for Rimworld. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave comments in below if you want to see more. I'm definitely going to continue playing this game. I thought I would share it with you guys. I've had some pretty cool stories, so. Alright, well, I'll see you guys later, and